I'm trying new things to try and get you guys creative with things that I don't know that you have or don't have. I filmed probably about an hour ago, which I did not post yet, how to paint with tea and coffee. And this was one that I have. You can kind of see the writing on the back because I used a mailer that my insurance company sent out saying what they were doing for COVID-19 or the coronavirus, which is, basically the same thing everybody else is doing. So I didn't really need that anymore. So I decided I'd make something pretty out of it. Check with your parents before you decide to use junk mail, okay? Make sure it's junk, make sure they really don't need it, okay? And then I also used a piece of my drawing paper. It's an 18 by 24, so it's one of those bigger sizes of construction paper that we use. It's what we call the big paper, okay? And this is a quarter of it, so this is half of the 9 by 12, which is the small paper, but this is half of it, okay? So this is what I had painted with this one was my tea mixture, okay? So what I had done was I had taken two, what is called a family-sized tea bag, iced tea bag, because it's what I had of tea that I don't really drink that much of. I use it when my parents come, and in the summer, and they like iced tea. Not my personal favorite, okay, so I don't really use it all that much. And I had emptied two of them, and I'd made two different mixtures of the tea in two different strengths, thinking that that would give me a lighter and a dark color, which, as you can see in my bear here, it did. The tea worked better than the coffee, okay? This is 3 layers to make it that darker part, and you can kind of see here where I have tried to add in a shadow, kind of. You can also see where I did not wait long enough, and his nose kind of bled into the other part of his nose. Okay, not my best work, but it's not bad, okay? The trees on my recycled piece of paper, I used coffee. I used old coffee that I had already brewed, and then I had one container had more coffee than the other, and I had, let it steep overnight and and strained out the coffee. Well, this is like 3 layers, which it didn't really get any different this is 3 layers, which it didn't really get any different after I had done 2. So I was kind of disappointed in the level of darks and lights that I was getting and how dark I could make it go. So I decided to look and find a different way to make colors with tea and coffee. They're still going to be brown and brown, but something different. So that's what I have right now, which I'm going to move my camera so you can see. So on the table in front of me, I have one little container here. Oops, sorry. Okay, this is a family-sized tea bag. It's significantly bigger. And I put in let me see here. It is less than 1/4 of a cup of, I had boiled some water in the microwave, and I just pour some in. Obviously, the less water, the darker it's going to be. Now, this is, I would say, almost room temperature. It's not really hot or cold or anything. It's just kind of there. The whole bag is not wet, but it has absorbed some of the water, and I've left the tea in there just because the longer it sits, the darker it's going to be. So that is my new tea mixture. Okay. Then for my coffee, I took new coffee grounds this time, which I think you could probably still use old, but I used new here, and I added I used my coffee scoop, which is just, I don't know, it's called a coffee scoop, and I used half, probably about 3/4 of it, so it wasn't a full scoop, and I put it in here. And again, I have less than 1/4 of a cup of water here. These have measurements on the side, and I left the grounds in. And I did both of these at the same time. So again, this is room temperature, maybe a little bit warmer. It's not super hot. But I left the grounds in, which is what you can see in there. Okay. And then I tested it out. Ooh, kind of move the bottom of that is wet. And this is the tea as is, which it looks, here it looks really washed out. I have a window over off to, well, as I'm sitting here, it's my right hand side, and it is letting in some of the natural sunlight, which is why I shut off my overhead light, because that was too much light. So it's kind of washing things out, but it's a darker brown in person. And then this is the coffee one, okay? And you can see it's got some of the grounds in it, which, you know, you can take those off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over what I've got with the new mixtures and see what it looks like, okay? So here's my trees. I'm going to come up a little bit more so you can see. I'm still trying to figure out how best to set up my kitchen to do demonstrations for you guys. It's a new thing because I don't normally do demonstrations in my kitchen. Alright, so that's pretty good. Let me grab a paintbrush. Alright, so I'm going to use coffee on my coffee tree. And I'm going to stick the paintbrush in. Now I'm going to get some of the coffee grounds. It's just how it is. I could strain it, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave them in there. The longer this sits, I do believe, because it's got the coffee grounds in it, it will get darker. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but I can see. Let me try coming a little closer. I can see already that it is a darker brown. Okay, so what kind of coffee did I use? Well, I like kind of it's called a medium roast, so it's not like a dark roast, but it's what's called a medium roast. It's kind of in between. And this is just Folgers French roast. So it's a darker medium roast. Use whatever you got, okay? And you can use, like I said, you can use the old ones too, the old grounds that have already been brewed. But I feel like, and this is a different coffee than the one that I used. That was the old coffee grounds that I'd already used. But I feel like this is a more brown color, whereas the one that I mixed up yesterday is more of a kind of yellow brown color. Like I feel this one has more brown to it. Like it's darker. It's more of a cold brown color. So it's got more like red, and it's a deeper brown color. It's not quite as yellow. And I don't know if that's because it's a different coffee, or because there's the coffee grounds in it, or because they're new versus old. I don't really know. Now, I did not mix up like two different shades of it, but what I could always do is I could always add more water, and I would use my paintbrush and just add more water to the brush, so that way I would get another container and add more water to it to kind of thin it out. Okay, so there I repainted the tree, the big tree, okay? So I've got that, and yes, I do have some coffee grounds on my brush, and guess what? I will wash it up really good with some soap, and it will come out, and it'll be okay. All right, now if you have a white bristle brush, it might stain them a little bit, but okay, so there's the tree and the new coffee mixture. All right, let's see what I can do with the bear. The bear and the new tea mixture. Now I don't have a big selection of brush sizes here at home, but I do have like a teeny one that I haven't used. I'm going to pick that one just because my drawing here is smaller. Okay, so I'm going to go in to my tea mixture and I'm going to paint over the nose. Now it's definitely darker, but as with most watercolors, which is essentially what this is, it goes on dark and then it lightens as it dries. So I'm really kind of hoping that if I go over the areas that I had tried to make darker, which are darker than what the other areas are, that it will make them darker because of this new mixture. Okay. I also had, which you can't really see because of the light, I had kind of played around and painted around the outside of my bear, just seeing what would happen. So I've got some color here. Go over his eyes again because they're really light. Over his eyes. I feel like his nose and his eyes should be the darkest things on the paper, and right now they kind of are, but they're not as dark as I would like them to be. Okay, so I mean, this is not, a bad color. This is dry, so I'm going to go over this and see what happens if I go over this area a second time, and then I can show you guys what it looks like a second time after it's dry, because this is basically dry. I'm going to go over half of it. Okay. Well, I still challenge you to see what it's like painting with some of your household things, okay? So we've got the tea. Okay, we've got the tea. Okay, I'm going to challenge you guys to try to paint with some of your household things that you have, okay? Things that are safe for you to paint with, that you probably got. It was not going to be a big deal if you use a little bit of it, okay? Tea, all right? You could probably use an already used tea bag. It's going to take longer for it to color the water, but you could probably do it, okay? Coffee. I didn't really use all that much coffee, okay? Again, you can use the granular coffee, that instant coffee. People will sometimes use that in cooking. I know that my mom, if my parents have instant coffee, that's what my mom has gotten it for, is for cooking, to make something instead of putting coffee grounds in it, which, yeah, you can eat them that way, but yuck. So she will buy instant coffee and do that. You can get the instant tea. There are people who like instant tea and instant coffee. I'm not one of them, okay? So I don't have that on hand. But if you have that, you're going to probably have a little bit easier time mixing up the darks and lights, just because you can take a little bit of the powder, the granules, and add a little bit of water to it and kind of thin it out as you go and see how it looks, okay? Try some Kool-Aid. If you have one of those powdered drink sticks that change color when they get wet, try that. If it has extra added sugar in it, I would maybe be a little hesitant to try that, because it might get sticky and kind of goo up your paintbrush. But, hot soapy water would probably take it out as long as you're careful. So I challenge you to try painting with some of the drinks that you have in your house that are available to you, that are safe for you to play around with. I don't know that I would want to drink this tea right now because I've stuck a paintbrush in it, and it sat around on my counter for probably 20 or so minutes, you know. I mean, my house is clean, but it'd probably be really, really strong, and it's not the way I'd like my tea, okay? Nor would I probably drink this coffee, as it has grounds in it, and again, that's not the way I like my coffee. But I challenge you to try that and see what you can do with some of the things that you have around your house. And I will be back, hopefully, seeing you guys in my classroom really soon, and we can use some of the normal things that we use to make our artwork with. But until then, I challenge you to try and find some different things that you can paint with at home.